we actually ingested the files, and then we actually updated the XML feed. Okay, and the third thing that we tried to do was to update, I won't say update, but to add a new node to the XML that we brought down. Okay, so I mean, obviously one way of doing it, so let me quickly show you all, so you all understand again. Open up the main cd var training XML feed. Okay, so what we try to do here is to get the XML feed, load it into simple XML, retrieve a simple XML element object, and then we actually tried to add a new simple XML element child. Okay, but this did not happen. The reason for that is there is a limitation of what we can add over to a simple XML element, and that can only be a string, and that string has to be single dimensional, and it actually cannot have, and or rather the child has to be single dimensional, and it shouldn't have multi-dimensional children. Okay, so to overcome this issue, okay, so one other thing to understand is why do we even have to have a child here, or we need to add a child here. Okay, the reason for that is, I mean, if we just want to print data into the onto the table, we wouldn't have to add a child to this XML object, right? All we'll do is we'll wait for the for each loop to end and then add an extra row, or then add x number of rows, uh, or x number of children to the table. But there would be cases, okay, where we actually are buying data from a data provider, manipulating the data, which means that either adding the data, deleting data, or updating the data, and then selling it to our customers. Okay, so at that point, this would again become a feed, okay, to the users, or to our users at least. So that is the case to remember as to why we would have to add content to an existing XML document. Okay, in such case, what we would do is use what is it? Uh, the DOM parser for ingesting data. Excuse me, for ingesting data and to update and or add data. Okay, so the first step in either, while using either parsers, is going to be the same. The first step is going to be the ingestion part, where we would actually use file get contents to fetch the data. Okay, so let's say this is XML data is equal to file get contents. So we training.com slash I kind of forgot. Okay, I guess it's XML user feed. Okay, okay, so now we have the XML data. So now what we'll have to do is we'll have to find a method, okay, which would allow us to take the XML data, okay, which is coming from this file or this web page, and push it into, or convert it rather, into a DOM document object. Okay, so let's actually take a look at the let's take a quick look at the uh, the classes. So we'll go to XML manipulation. So these are actually called breadcrumbs. Okay, if anybody asks you Okay, these are called breadcrumbs. Okay, the reason that they help us, or the way they help us, is by giving us the an idea of what the path is. Okay, so if somebody asks you if have you worked with breadcrumbs, so they are referring to this structure. Okay, so in here, all that we are looking for is the DOM document class, and in the DOM document class, we are looking for a method which would help us ingest XML data. Okay, so now let's actually, so here in this section, okay, in this section we all have all the load functionality. Okay, so the first one is load. Okay, we should load XML from a file. The second is DOM document load HTML, okay, which loads HTML from a string. The third is load HTML file, which loads HTML from a file, and the last one is load XML, that loads XML from a string. Okay, so since we already have the XML data as a string in this variable, we can use DOM document load XML. Okay, so now let's take a quick look at what is the uh, what are the arguments that this method has, and what is the return type. Okay, the return type is mixed, which means that it can be anything. Okay, uh, so here let's take a quick look at returns. Okay, so it returns either true, so it returns true on success or false on failure. If called statically, it returns a DOM document. Okay, or false on failure. Okay, so let's actually, we'll have to understand what do they mean if called statically. Okay, because if a class has static methods, there are multiple, I won't say static methods, but here it looks like they are overloading the methods. Okay, so there is a static method, and then there is a regular method, so we can use either of them. Okay, but we'll actually use the first condition, or the first way of accessing it, where we'll actually create an object. Okay, for the DOM document class. Okay, and then pass the string into the into this method. Okay, so let's quickly do that. We would say DOM XML is equal to new DOM document. Okay, so we are initializing a or instantiating an object. Okay, here what we'll do is we'll just say DOM XML load XML, which is the function dollar XML data. Okay, so let's do a let's just echo a new line, echo another new line. Let's make it two, and then let's echo get class dollar DOM XML. Okay, let's split it vertically. Let's say sudo bash training XML. Now let's run this file. Be DOM. Okay, so now when we run the PHP file, we are printing the class of the data that's coming back, or data that is available in DOM XML. Okay, and it is DOM document. Now let's go back to the manual, or forget manual. Now that we have the object, we can even do get class methods, right? Get class methods would give us a list of methods, or list of public methods at least, that are available, okay, with this object. Let's try that out real quick. Okay, there are 54 methods, which is awesome, right? So the first thing that we'll have to do is we'll have to take a look at all the elements that are in here. Okay, so what we have to do is we'll have to look for something that has child in there, and since this is a very big list, and since we are using bash, let's grep for child. Okay, let's grep for child. Perfect. So interestingly, all that it has is replace child, remove child, append child, and has child nodes. Okay, so, so it doesn't have a method which is get nodes or something of that sort. Now, create node, import node, adopt node, register class node, hash. Hmm. Get node path. Okay. So let's look for one other thing. Get. Okay. So it looks like we will have to use one of these get functions to print the data. Or let's again look. So this is the output for node. Hmm. Let's go back to the manual again. We'll go to DOM. So this character data comment create element get elements by tag name. Okay, so we can probably use get elements by tag name, and the tag name has to be employee, right? Because we are actually pushing in, uh, or let's actually, yeah. So here we are loading employee objects in here. Okay, or let's, I mean, just to get an idea, let's just do a var dump on this object. At that point, we can actually understand what are the tags that I'm talking about. Okay, so I'll clean it up. Oh, you know what? Yeah. So interestingly, it did not actually load the XML data because I don't see any data in here. Yeah, that's not good. So let's see. Let's do var dump XML data. Let's actually end the process here. Let's clean this up. Okay, so we are fetching the XML data. Fine. Now what we'll have to do, so let's actually look at load XML function for a second. Load XML from a string. Open. Okay. So it is looking for a string source, which is right. Then okay, so it's actually to pass a string containing. Okay, so one other thing that we have to verify is if we have the, I'm guessing this is the problem. So it doesn't have a opener like this one. Okay, so let me quickly add this to our feed. Okay, and see if that makes a difference, because DOM document is very particular about namespaces or the header tags. So let's see if that makes a difference. So I'll open up users.php, and this has to go right at the beginning. So this will go here. $employee feed is equal to paste. And since I already have, go away. Oh, so how can I make that go away? Okay, awesome. Yeah, since we have uh, Yeah, since we have double quotes inside double quotes, we have to escape them. We use backslash to escape them. Okay, so now let's load the feed again, and it looks like this already exists, does not appear to have any style. Let's verify if it's valid JSON. I mean valid XML, valid or XML validator. XML validation. Oh wow, so only top nodes were copied. Ah, perfect. So I cannot copy this. Wow. Okay, so nothing got copied. Let's say view page source. Okay, so the encoding is actually there. Hmm. Let me quickly copy this. Close it out. Okay, so no errors were found, which means that it is valid XML. So now let's go back in here. Oh, hang on for 1 second. Yeah, okay, it's right. So it is valid XML, but uh, so let's actually see if we get any data to begin with. We'll actually use what is it? The get elements by tag name function. Get elements by, yeah, by tag name. Okay. Now the way this uh, function works is we'll given a string name, okay, of the tag that exists, and we'll get a DOM node list object back. Okay, so here's an example. Okay, since so this is a books uh, this is a books XML document. Okay, books is the root element and it has book elements in there. So we would actually use DOM get elements by tag name function, and we'll actually pass in book, which is the tag for the child elements. Okay, and we'll get a DOM node list object back. Okay, so let's quickly, I mean, this one is pretty similar or pretty close to what we have with the employee tag, right? Because employee has child tags, but it is okay because we can actually use employee as the tag to query or fetch all the employees out. Okay, let's quickly do that. So we would say dollar dom xml get elements by tag name. Close this out. Yeah, get elements by tag name employee. Let's see if this works. Work. Ah, okay. So there is so it is right. So for some reason, data was not ingested into the DOM document object. So we'll have to figure out as to why it's happening. So I'll say get type. So get type is a function to verify what kind of data is coming down, just so that we understand that we are getting string data. So okay, so it is string that's coming down. Okay, let's actually print it out very quickly and see if the header is coming through. Because DOM document is notorious for skipping it if the header doesn't come through. Okay, even the header is coming down. So DOM XML is new DOM document. So let's print this out and see if we return, if we're getting a true or false, because the documentation says that it would return a false um, if it doesn't work, right? And it's saying true. See, this is the fun part. So it is saying true, which means that the loading took place. Okay, but when I print the data out, I'm not getting any data. See, something's wrong. So let me see if I can actually use load and see if that makes a difference. Okay, so that failed, which is right, because load expects a file. Okay, so it has to be load XML. Um, okay, and it is boolean true, but the object document down document has one. So let's quickly Google it. Let me quickly Google it. Get all children down document page. Yeah, even they are using get elements by tag name, but that didn't help. So let's see if I can actually. Okay, so even this guy is using the same thing. So where does he use? So where does he use node list to begin with? Item index. Okay, let's say this load down document returns true. Okay, that didn't work. So let's actually go into this one again. So what are the options? This returns true on success. So how much time do I have? 8 minutes. Okay. So it returns true on success and false on failure. That's right. You know what? I don't think that could be the problem, but let me quickly try. See here, it still is of type DOM document. Okay, but I'm a little scared. That is a difference. I hope not. Okay, it's not perfect. It would be a shame if that was a problem. Never mind. That did not solve it. Okay, so let me try one other thing. So I'll say comment out XML data is equal to, let me just copy this guy's stuff. Oh no, something simpler. Yeah, this one's good. Let's copy the whole thing. Okay, now let's quickly see if this makes a difference. Okay, so it says undefined. So let's actually get rid of this one. So see, even this one did not work. I mean, something wrong with the version that I use or what? Let me quickly. Let me print the div element. Okay, so it is an empty node list. Okay, so let me try one other thing. It's not good. Okay, so let's use a boolean method to verify if there are any child nodes. Or down underscore XML. Ah, okay, no. So for some reason, nothing's printing out. Why? So I'll load this in. Okay, so let me try something. PHP inside user feed down ingest. So no errors. It's 7 minutes. Okay, but for some reason, it's not printing any data. Hmm. Let me load this in the browser and see if that makes a difference. Users feed. Okay, so now it says bool true. Okay, so it also says it has child nodes. So why is this empty? Hmm. See, I mean, it says that it has child nodes, which is confusing. Now if I'll print this out, ha, okay, so it's not working yet. So it's actually printing the class methods. So I have to do this to, but yeah, see, this one is an empty node list object. Yeah, something's wrong. Oh no. Okay. Oh, you're still there?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, looks like my VM's frozen. So give me 1 minute. Ugh, come on. Oh no. So I guess I'll have to kill this one. Okay. So give me 1 minute. I'll have to kill my VM. Four squared. Restart. Okay. So let's get back. Terminator. So looks like we have a, yeah, fair enough. So when we abruptly end stuff, we'll have a swap file. Let's remove the swap file, or we can just like override the swap file. Let's say users feed down, just say edit. Okay, and it looks like this did not help. Or let's comment this completely. Ah, okay, so let me close this out real quick. I'll say dom test.php. Let me copy an example from not this one, but from get get element by tag name and see if this shows up. So at that point, it's not a version issue, because sometimes PHP can act a little crazy if say like a min version is different. Okay, let me quickly copy this. Let me paste it. Ah, so now what they're doing in here is they have an XML string that they're building on the fly, and they're pushing it into this DOM document object. Okay, so let's see if this works. So we'll just run this one. Okay, so it actually works. It's not a version issue. Which means that something in the XML is not right, or something in my script is not right. So I'm doing DOM XML. So I'm loading the XML, right? And then but never mind. I'm still doing print underscore r, which means that it still has to return something. Get elements. But tag name, okay, the function's right. If not, it would actually fail. So what's so different? Damn it. So let's take it out. Oh, you know what? I'll try something real quick. Let's actually modify the encoding and see if that is any different, or if that changes anything. Okay, close this out. I'll run users feed down ingest. Okay, that did not make a difference either. So let's go to DOM test and let's close this out. Just to verify. See, one other thing that I've noticed here is that the colors are different. I'm actually trying to figure out what makes these colors different. Okay, let's just print this out and see if that gets the data. Get elements by tag. Book. Okay, so I'm actually getting something on line 14, which says unexpected. Yeah, fair enough. I'm sorry. I have to end this with a closing parenthesis. Okay, so that I guess is the problem. So node list is an object, so I shouldn't do printer. I have to assign it to an object, another variable, and then iterate on that one. Okay, we pretty much were doing this the wrong way through. That's bad. So let's actually go in here. Let's remove it completely, or remove this part completely. And here we can say, and we'll also close this. Let's close this out here, just to be on the safe side. Okay. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I might run out of memory again. So okay, so let's do this. We say dollar, no, we say dollar employees is equal to dollar dom XML get elements by tag name. So we'll get all these people. Okay, and in here what we'll do is we'll just say if so here's another thing. Yeah, we'll just say if, yeah, we'll do this. We'll say if has child nodes. Okay, we'll say um yeah, so it has to be a loop again, obviously. For each dollar employee says dollar employee, um let's actually do a var dump on each employee and see what are we getting. Okay, and here let's actually split it horizontally. Okay, and let's run this file. Okay, so we're getting nothing. That's not good. So let's see here. Let's at least see if it has children. Okay, it doesn't, which means it's not good. Okay, so it says that it doesn't have children. Hmm. How can that be possible? Let's take this out. Let's actually do this. And let's see if it actually goes into the loop. It doesn't. But I should at least get an error. Right. So let's print out the count of dollar employees. Okay, so the count is 1. What? How can the count be 1? Because I'm looking for employee. So let me see if I can look for EMP and see what happens here. So even that is 1. So that's not right. So something's wrong. Okay, so something is actually wrong. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm actually not even loading this. So that's the problem. So now we'll actually have some data that will come back. Okay. I was actually not loading it. I commented the load part. And at the same time, let's also var dump if there are any child nodes. Okay. Exit. Okay. So there are child nodes here. So that's a good sign. So let's clean this up. Let's actually make our program leaner. So we can, so now again, we'll have to get elements by tag name of employee. And then let's see if we can get a count this time. Okay, so it still says 1, so that's not sure if that's a good sign. But since it says it has children, let's see if we can var dump the data. Okay, so we actually are getting a bunch of DOM elements back this time. Okay, since we loaded it in, we are getting a bunch of DOM elements. Okay, so it should be 50. Okay, so now let's actually see if we can get the class methods, okay, that are available for this DOM element. And since we only want this to be shown once, we can actually put a die in here. What? Oh, okay, it's an array. Yeah. Oh, obviously, yeah, I'm sorry. It's this we're getting more than one value, so it has to be an array. That's right. Okay. So there's a lot of data. So it says get attribute node, set attribute node, get element by tag name, has attribute, insert before. Okay, so all this data, okay, is not, no, or all these methods, I'm not sure if they are of any help for us, right? So what we'll do is we'll see if we can actually get the properties of this class. I think it's get class vars. Let's quickly see that. Okay, expects parameter 1 to be string. Okay, we can do this. We'll say, so since it's expecting a string, we'll say get class of the object and we'll pass that as the parameter. Okay, so it says it doesn't have any parameters. So let's actually do this. Let's do a for each, or let's say dollar employee info is equal to or even before that we'll have to see if dollar employee has, I guess it's child nodes. If so, let's actually print the methods again, get class methods in, see the, see what we can do here. Okay, yeah, let's actually try that. Info is, or let's just say print underscore get class methods dollar employee. And since we only want to take a look at the first guy, whoa, okay, so I don't want this, I'll say remind me later. Okay, so let's actually get a little more real estate in here. Okay, so let's run, no, not down test, we'll say users feed down list. Okay, so in here let's look up, let's, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, let's look for, yeah, so we'll actually see if the child node exists. Okay, so here's what we might have to do. We might just have to verify that the child nodes exist and then do something like this, where we would say employee number is equal to employee get elements by tag name of id, or we can just call it id. Okay, and in here we might have to do dollar id as dollar value, and we'll have to print the class methods for value. Okay, or let's actually do this. Let's actually understand what type of fun object is this. So it is again a DOM element. So no, that's not good. Let's print the data out. Okay, so now it says get class methods, which is DOM node. Oh, right. I'm sorry. So it shouldn't be for ID, but it should actually have value. Yeah. So again, we are actually getting a bunch of stuff that we're not looking for. So what we're looking for is a variable. So let's quickly, so let's actually look for get node value DOM element. Okay, so this is a DOM element class. Okay, so the properties that are available for this guy is a bool and a string. And this comes from DOM node. Inherited methods, child nodes has attributes. Okay, so this property already exists. So let me quickly try, because this is the one that I was looking for. So let's actually try if this is there for this guy. Yeah, let's just say print underscore dollar value node value. So let's clear. Okay, so So here we are able to print the number, the employee number. Okay. Now let's see if we can actually. I mean, this is not going to be a good way, but let's just try and see if we can print the node value of the whole node and see. Okay, so we cannot. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. The reason we cannot is value doesn't exist in the scope. So we'll have to do employee which exists in the scope. So we'll clean it up. Okay, so here we actually are getting the data. Okay, which is here. We're getting the data of the whole node. Okay, so now that we have the data for the whole node, let's actually print it out for all the nodes that are available. Yeah, that's not good. So let's go uh, one at a time, or let's actually do that in the browser. I guess browser could be of a little help. I will take it back. It is not. So we'll have to go probably with one step at a time. So let's actually do this. Let's write up a function. We'll say return node value. Okay, and let's say it is expecting node. Okay, and in the node we'll say dollar for is dollar node as dollar value, and we'll just return dollar values node value. I mean, when you're really using it for multiple purposes, make sure that what is it? Make sure that you put in a few more checks. But here you can probably get away with it. Okay, so probably what we can do is we wouldn't even have to assign a variable for it. Let's remove this guy too. All we'll have to do is we'll just have to say echo since it has child nodes, we'll have to say, yeah, we'll have to say echo return node value for the node. The node here is going to be dollar employee get elements by tag name id. Okay, and then let's actually add a pipe. Now let's do the same for the rest of them. Yeah, for now let's ignore the gender. Let's get these guys out first. So what we'll do is we'll print this data. This is going to be pipe separated, and after each employee let's actually add a line break. Let's see if this works. Yay. Okay, so it actually worked this time. Okay, so sometimes I mean, that's why DOM document is normally uh, people stay away from DOM document. I mean, I don't want to sound biased, but it actually can be a trip once in a while. So yeah, this is how we would actually parse through DOM document. Okay, so even before I go ahead and start explaining what just happened, let me quickly ask you all if you have followed the
Vaguely, I understood what you're trying to do and what you're not trying to get.
okay. So a few things to say it again.
Come
Okay.
again, Sai?
No, I thought you were actually going to say something, but yeah. So the
No,
only
I got where you were going, trying to get, but I don't know what the issue is. I mean,
yeah, I hear you. So yeah, so let me quickly explain what is going on here. So here, the first step, we are fetching content from a file or from a web page. Once we do that, we would actually pass that to a DOM document object. Okay. Once we do that, we are actually fetching the elements out. Okay, via tag name. Okay, and after that, we are saying that if we have child nodes, we'll have to print the node value of each available node that is in the that is actually in the DOM document object. Okay, and the only reason that it actually can be a trip is if you're not I mean if you use this on a regular basis, the it'll be pretty simple, but sometimes since you are dealing with a complete tree of objects, it actually can be a little of a trip. Okay, the original reason that we actually are or like we're trying to use DOM document was to add elements. Okay, uh, but I'm actually running out of time, so I'll actually do that on Tuesday. But for now, do you all understand what return node value function does, and what get elements by tag name does, and what hash child nodes does? Okay, and if you all want to understand what are all the methods that are available for a class or for an object, do you all understand how to get that data out? So this is the object oriented part of PHP, by the way. Yes, no. Okay,
Sai, I just missed that part.
okay, I was
Did you
actually
ask
asking,
come again?
yeah, so I was actually asking if you all have understood what is the reason that we are using this function return node value and the functionality of get elements by tag name, hash child nodes. The main important thing is, do you all
They're
understand
all
how to?
functions run there. So, yeah.
Yeah, the last question is, do you all understand how to get a list of methods that are exposed by an object?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you all do. Okay, uh, yeah. So you all have 2 hours today. Okay, so go ahead and practice this part. Okay, both simple XML and DOM document, they can be a trip. So make sure that you all try this out.
Happy Dasara.
Oh yeah, happy Dasara to you all too. Enjoy and binge on sweets and foods.
All right.
Okay, so
Happy
guys,
Vijayadashmi once again. Have fun.
yeah,
Bye.
stay safe. I'll see you all on Tuesday, 8 p.m.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yep, thank you guys.
Bye.